Good everyone, I'm going to video today. We have the first flight of the Chinese A6M2 Zero. After working through Warbonds and getting pretty good results in every single daily task that I had, apart from one which took like 2 hours, I managed to get myself the Chinese A6M2. So the Chinese A6M2 is the only rank 3 premium that China gets, and I thought, well, I've got the Chin 45. I've got the Hawk 3 and the H81A2 for, well, I've got the Hawk 3 for rank 1 and the Key 45 and H81 for rank 2. I would like to get a rank 3 if I can do, because obviously if anything rank 4 comes for China that we may obviously get, like something Taiwanese maybe, because obviously that's in the same tech tree. I thought, well, if I get the Zero should surely be pretty good at doing its job. Now, since I've seen Harry flying this thing seems rather capable, and the Japanese tend to underestimate it. And the fact is that you can actually outturn A6M3s, so if need be, we will use that ability to our advantage. So I've slept my best crew on it, and well, I don't play China enough to get a good crew in it, but it's the best I've got for the moment. A maxed out G tolerance for the moment, and expert crew just to give it a hand. In terms of belts, I've loaded the aircraft with 20mm cannon as universal and also the 7.7s as universal. I never use anything else other than uni in both guns unless I'm running ground in the 20mm for doing a bit of ground pounding. Now this Chinese A6M2 obviously differs from the US A6M2, aka the Akutan, by having a couple of differences, and I literally mean a couple. First off is the skin, which I have to admit really suits this thing. It's got a very nice skin to it. I do like the look of it. And then this one can also carry two 60kg bombs. Whilst I don't think we're going to be getting much use out of those bombs, it's nice to have them. I mean, they're there for a pretty handy reason. And if I was to, I don't know, well, in fact, I think the newest AA for China that's come in next patch is 3.3. So I could probably bring the Chin Zero along to give it some backup, which I think would work rather well. But obviously, for the sake of this video, we're not going to be putting the bombs on because it just weighs the plane down unnecessarily. But am I looking forward to this bird? Hell yeah. I mean, it's my first rank 3 China premium. Obviously, you can't get the Key 84 in Warbonds, which makes perfect sense because, well, we don't want people getting A2D Sky Sharks for free now, do we? But, I mean, it's fine. I mean, if you want anything rank 4 for free, or for relative cheapness, I'd probably put a talisman on the P38L for China. But hey, we'll have to see. So let's jump in. As for history about this bird, I don't know a lot. All I know is that the Chinese, well, I mean, it is not in Russian, like, it's not got the Russian decals like the Key 45 does. As far as I know, they captured an airfield and the Japanese have left a couple of these behind. That's pretty much all I know about this bird. But at least it has some history. However, I would like to see stuff like the apparent captured Chinese Corsair. Well, not captured, more like given, as far as I know. And also stuff like the... and it's Zhengzhou, great. But I'd also like to see stuff like the apparent HE-100 they had. They apparently had a Blenheim, so there's plenty of Chinese aircraft to add. It's just, it depends, and well, I would like to see some come along. But hey ho, it's a cheap premium. I mean, it's 1,300 golden eagles, and well, it's not a bad bird. But of course, naturally, we get fully up-tiered. Just great. We get full up-tier in my first game in this fucking plane. Of course we do. Just by damn luck. But A6M2s are pretty good for the most part. They work really well. At 20 degrees, and let's see how it does. I haven't actually flown an A6M2 in quite a while. The most recent A6M I've flown was the A6M5. And that thing is top notch. I've got to say that. I really do enjoy the A6M5. You can get down and proper blood on the fist with that thing. But this, obviously, it is an A6M2, so what we've got to take into account is the fact that we've got less engine power than an A6M5, but we also weigh less, which means we can outturn A6M3s, A6M5s, but obviously we will not be able to outturn A6M2s. We'll be able to match them, but not outturn them. And obviously this aircraft is navalized. This is the navalized A6M2 Zero, as you can tell by the tailhook, which doesn't make a huge lot of sense to me, because, well, why would you bring naval aircraft into Chinese airspace when, I mean, maybe in the eastern parts of China, that's the only bit I can think of. I know the Japanese had some Army Zeros, which were designated Mod 11, which we have in the game. So I don't get why this one's a naval aircraft variant, but even so. I guess they were just desperate for fighters, so brought in a couple of navalized Zeros, because to be honest, the weight difference between the two is so meaningful, or meaningless, I should say. It's not a lot of difference. So straight off the bat, this thing's starting to overheat a little bit, but to be fair, I'm riding it a little hard. I'm going to drop it to 15 degrees just to help it climb. Climb seems pretty good, because, well, it's a Zero. These things are well known for their good climb rate. But we're just fighting the Japanese, so we've got to take this into account. But obviously being at a 4.3, I believe it's 4.3 anyway. Because what BR's the Yak-9T? I think it's 4.3. So let me look at this guy's playing card so I don't have to funny around. Turn up tanks. Yeah, it's 4.0, so it looks like we're just in a 4.0 game, because the Meritismus is 3.7, the LA5FN is 3.7. So I think we are just in a 4-0 game, but that still doesn't mean we can't underestimate our foes. Additionally, I've joined the guns for this one. As much as I would trust on my ping, I mean, if you look at my ping, it's at 31 at the moment, 32-ish. I would trust firing the guns separate. I want Dakar. More Dakar is always nice. Yeah, climb rate seems pretty solid, I've got to say that. I mean, we're at about the same altitude as the Yak-85s, the Yak-3s, and the Yak-9s, so it's climbing pretty respectively for what it is. The problem is with the Zero is that it got a bit long in the tooth during the war. It just couldn't compete against its fighters that it was facing. Like, Corsairs would blow its doors off, Hellcats would blow its doors off. In the early parts of the war, it was kicking ass, and I see a guy there named Saburo Sakai, and that worries me, because, well, a guy named Saburo Sakai is high chance of being a skilled pilot in Zero. Let's just have a quick gander. And yeah, he seems to fly a lot of Zeros and Japanese aircraft in general. So we've also got Oscars. Now, I can't remember if the Oscar can outturn the Zero. I think it can, but not by a lot. Of course, as you can see, we've got half the enemy air force flying towards me, so I kind of need to turn away. Because if there's one thing I'm not doing, it's fighting 7 enemy aircraft at once. Because I see at least 5 to 6 dots down there. Of course, the only problem is with these sorts of teams is the fact that, well, I'm up against possibly a squad. Doesn't look like they've gone here though. And Chinese and Russian teams tend to suck balls. And look, they're diving down to deal with aircraft that are not important. That Key 43's got to be a 3-Otsu to be catching me this quickly. So I'm going to drag him towards the team. Now I think that's the heaviest Key 43, so we might be able to outturn him. I'm not too sure. I can't say I've ever fought a Key 43 in a Zero. We're going to have to brake very shortly, and obviously we're getting up to high speed where the Zero will start to struggle. We're not outrunning him either, so he's definitely a 3. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, that's definitely a 3. Let's see if we can throw him off. Yeah, the controls feel fine, but I just don't know if we're going to beat this guy in a turn. But he has got Ho cannons, and Ho cannons are notorious for being shit. Even on my ping. Did he just black out trying to follow me through that? Oh, I saw that, Spark. I saw that. Looks like we're whooping his ass in the turn, so that's a good point of note. If you're going to get this thing, you can out-turn key 43s. Sparking today, aren't we? There we go. Kill number 1. We managed to get out of that because of this thing's controllability. It's very good. That's for definite. Took just over half the cannon ammo to down him though, because obviously we had a bit of sparking. That's going to be a problem. And I reckon it's... well, what rounds could realistically cause the spark? If I had to guess, it'd be the HEFT. Because even on my ping, this thing was sparking. But to be fair, a lot of guns recently have been sparking for me, such as early 50 cals. Well, Shavak's always be whack, but they're still sparking a little bit. But for the most part, it's been pretty solid in terms of the... it's been pretty solid in terms of, like, guns not sparking. So, Spirit Sakai is quite important, but there's an A6M3 trying to reclimb. And there's also an A6M3 low. But he's turning back, so that's good for me. Being a Chinese Zero, this thing tends to get targeted by Zeros because the A6M3 apparently is better than the M2. Which, it is in some aspects, but not all aspects. Because the A6M2 is about 400 kilograms lighter than the 3, and I don't have clipped wings. Dude, I'm not falling for that trick. Let's pop the flaps, see if we can follow him through. Crit. Boom. Second kill. I'm gonna go for Saburo next. We're down to 30. Never mind, he just got disintegrated. Poor bastard. Come here, Mr. 3. You need to die. Bit of sparking, got a crit. Looks like the 7.7s are doing decent work at least. I'll just fire the last bit of cannon. Gonna try and go for the pilot with a shot. There we go. Oh! I think I just hit him then. Okay, that's fine. 3 kills. Let's make our way back, because we're now combat ineffective. I think I just gave that guy an accidental hug. Gave that guy an accidental hug. Yeah, the plane seemed to have taken that fine. But yeah, I like this thing so far. I mean, good first impressions, so you can outturn A6M3s like they're nothing, that's for definite. The key to dealing with enemy A6M2s is to try and keep altitude above them. Because obviously they turn at the same rate as you, they're exactly the same aircraft. Obviously if you're fighting a Mod 11, it does turn a slight bit better, because obviously it's got less weight in the tail. But at this point, it's down to one enemy plane, and he's currently being engaged by a pair of Lavochkin 5s, so we'll head back. Yeah, not bad result, I've got to say that. We've still got an aileron to some extent, so that's good. We've still got 2 ailerons, for the most part. I mean, most of it's sheared off, but it's fine. We're fine. And that guy's having a bad day at the office, so it's no big deal. One thing I do like about Zeros is that they just don't care if you lose a wingtip, they fly just fine. Most aircraft in the game can take a wingtip loss, well, some can't. The only planes I can think of that don't like wingtip losses are stuff like P-38s, I find. They tend to not like them. Yeah, all I'll say is, not a bad start, and there goes the A6M2, so we don't even have to land. That's good for me. 11.5-minute battle, GG, 3 kills, 3rd place in the team. That's a good result. Yeah, that's probably going to be the title of the video. Accidental hug given, or something like that. I'll think of something. But yeah, not a bad result. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because, well, that was decent. Yeah, even with half the wingtip gone, well, not half, more like a quarter of the wing gone, it feels fine. Like, I'm just constantly applying left aileron, and it's controlling just nicely. 3rd place in the team, looks like we've got combined Terror of the Sky and Bulletproof. Sweet. And not a bad payout for your first flight. 48k Lions, just under 7k for Mark of Distinction, 3k research towards a friggin' jet, which tells you how good this thing is at grinding. And yeah, so not a bad result. I've got to say that for, well, that much. Good aircraft, like I say, just don't give people accidental hugs. It's not healthy for this plane. This thing being a Zero, it's made of bamboo soaked in fuel, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, this thing seems pretty solid. Expect to review on it soon enough, and well, excuse me, I'll see you all on the next one.